So here's the mock-up that I did for the dress. I made it out of newspaper. I put out the measurements. This is what it looks like together so I could get an overall feel of how it would be. This is me transferring it onto the thing. This was a lot more easier than I had done, and it was very helpful in keeping like straight lines. And I sewed it together. It was a little bit rough, but it worked, and it was a lot easier once I had ironed it down. Here you can see me ironing the hems. This was much more difficult and tedious than I expected it, but it was also very useful. So I would just press them down, I'd fold them over once and once again, and here you can see that it just falls back into place, which is really helpful when you're trying to sew it down, and it's hard to like do two things at once when you're doing something like that. Like, it was much more tedious, like I had said, but it was also surprisingly like I'm using an iron. There's like some precautionary things I have to take, and it was eventually very helpful. Here I'm just ironing the rest of it down. The ironing down made it so much more easier. I can't explain how much it did. I'm so glad that my nana told me to do that, and it looks much better from the front. Here you can see it's all pressed together nicely, and from the back. This is not, people won't actually see this, but this is more so just an aesthetic thing. You can see it's pressed down evenly, and then it looks pleasant from the front and the back. Here's some artistic shots that my sister did. She helped me record this because I didn't want to be recording while I was holding a heavy hot iron. That was very helpful. Thank you to her for doing that. She didn't have to, but she did, so. And in this next part, you can see me trying on the skirt, and it fits nicely. I eventually had to go back and redo the length of it. It was a little too long for me, and it was nice. So here's the final product. It turned out much nicer than I expected. It's definitely not perfect, but for my first try, I was really proud of it, and I'm so glad of how it turned out. So thank you.